It's wet outside today, man. It's wet outside. Oh, and there's a huge... You see that? Bro, that's a falcon. No, I don't think that was a falcon. That was a hawk. Putting in the work in the trees. Maybe it'll keep the chickens away. And man, they got these kids going to school on Thanksgiving week. That must be nice. Bro, these hawks are really going everywhere. There must be something going down this morning.
This morning we were talking about strength training for those who want to be strong as a red-tailed hawk. I don't know why I said it like that. We're talking about strength training. Man, this topic comes up, must be 17 times a week in the comments. Do you go to the gym? What do you do for strength training? Here's my strength training routine. What are your thoughts on whether runners need strength training? So I'm going to give you all of that and more this morning. My thoughts on strength training, what the popular belief is on strength training, and what you need to be doing when it comes to strength training. I'm also going to share my experience and philosophy on this topic as a 2:39 marathon runner and what I did in this build to get that, in the last build to get that when it comes to my strength training.
So first here, man, let me tell you the secret. Let me tell you the secret to getting faster. And this is the one, there's no silver bullet, there's no magic pill, there's no one thing you can do that will improve your running. But if there is one tenet that I build my entire training philosophy on, it's this. And it's that consistent mileage over time will get you faster. Now, you can caveat that a million ways. And man, anytime I do one of these training videos, people want to add 17,000 caveats in the comments that say, did you say this? You didn't address that. If I added a million caveats, all these videos would be Scorsese length. So I'm not going to add caveats on top of everything. But here's the thing. Man, it's too early to be debating science this morning. I also have to do my offset stance because there's water. But there's very few things that coaches agree on. The only thing that most coaches agree on is that consistent mileage over time will get you faster. And so if you are starting a running program or you are on the journey to get faster as a runner, that should be your number one goal. How can I get consistent mileage over time? Now, consistency means building up to running 5, 6, 7 days a week, doing that 365, doing that 52 weeks out of the year. Mileage, extending the length of those runs so that you're getting up to an hour, 90 minutes on your everyday runs. And then over time, we got to stack those blocks years and years and years. A coach named Canova, he coached a lot of elite Kenyan runners and others. His philosophy was that it took 10 years. He argued that it took 10 years for your aerobic house to be built. And the great thing about running, there is a lot of science, but the coaches have more insights a lot of the time. I've read a lot of science books and I've read a lot of the coaching books. The coaches oftentimes have better insights and more insights on the truth behind running than the science because the coaches have decades of experience and can speak from that. The Lydiards, Cerrutis, Canova, the Hudsons of the world versus the guys in the lab. Well, they have to work within the constraints of academia, the academy, and a study can only be so long. So the insights we get from the real world a lot of the time beat the insights we get from gosh dang science. So Canova argued that it takes 10 years for that aerobic house to be built. Consistency over time, building that mileage up. So as newer runners, our number one goal should be how do we lengthen our runs? If we're running 20 to 30 minutes, how do we build that up to 45 minutes to an hour? One. How do we then increase the number of days we're running per week from 2, 3, 4 days a week to 5, 6, 7 days a week? And then third, how do we make sure that we are running this consistently over time? So those are the three aims of a running program. Now, as I mentioned last week, you have to add in the intensity. I talk about this all the time. You're not just running mileage. I'm simplifying it here. You're running structured workouts within that mileage. But for most of us, if our aerobic house is not built, if we haven't maximized our aerobic gains by running a lot of miles, then the intensity isn't even going to be doing that much for us. We need to first stack. We need to first stack and then we can attack. That's why I always say you got to run 20 slow before you could run 20 long. Now, when it comes to the strength training, anything we do outside of that framework that I just outlined of consistent mileage over time should be to support that goal. The law of specificity is that the more we run, the better we get at running. Going bowling is not going to help our running. Baking blueberry muffins is not going to help our running. And for most of us, putting up weight in the gym is not going to help our running. This is where it gets complicated though. And let me share my background because this might make more sense to you. So the goal of running is to run more over time, to stay consistent and not get injured. That's one of the main things strength training can do is supplement weaknesses and build on any areas where you potentially might get injured. That is really the role of strength training in an endurance program. Now, the entire frame of my channel right now is endurance athletes. How can you become a better endurance athlete? And all these training talks are about getting better at 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon. If you are running for general fitness or enjoyment, go ahead and lift heavy weights or whatever weights you want in the gym and go have fun on the treadmill for 10 minutes. That's not the purpose of this discussion today. The purpose of the discussion today is if you are an endurance athlete looking to get faster, run faster race times, how much faster can strength training make you? So my background, okay, I lifted 2 to 4 times a week, every week from the age of 15, 16 to the age of 26. Right? Up till a few years ago, even in 2022. And in 2022, I was doing CrossFit before I did my first marathon training build in 2022. So that I had a 10, 12 year period of consistent lifting, a lot of strength built up. And I was not sedentary. I played sports growing up, so I had a big athletics background. This year, I have not been to the gym one time. So when it comes to my personal training, a lot of people ask me, do you go to the gym? Do you do strength training? No, I do not. And to run that 239, I did zero. I was in the gym 0 times because to run that consistent mileage over time, for me, I have a strong foundation relatively, and I don't have a lot of weaknesses that need to be supplemented through strength training. So number one goal of strength training is that consistent mileage over time. Now, if we're going back to the law of specificity and consistent mileage over time is going to make us faster, one of the things as hobby joggers, look at the hat, hobby joggers, one of the things that we have to be mindful of our time is our biggest resource here. We're trading miles for time. If we're running 10-minute miles and we have an hour, we're only gonna get 6 miles for that day. If we're trying to do a gym session on top of that, that's gonna bang our mileage down to 2-3 miles if you have an hour to exercise per day. And for most people out there, for most hobby joggers out there, you're going to get a lot more benefit by running that hour-long run. And here is the thing. If you are running 10-minute miles, where can you find additional efficiencies through your running to get faster? And this is where the question comes, should you add more mileage? Do you need to add more mileage? If your goal is to get faster, what are those things that you can do? The number one thing you can do to get faster is to run more and to run more over time without getting injured. So that's where the role of strength training comes in. If you are getting injured frequently, you got to work on that. You got to supplement that through gym work. If you are not, adding more mileage is the best thing you could do. Practicing the skill of running more is the best thing that you can do to get faster. So let me talk more about my approach out here and how I use my running to build strength, because that's another thing we can do. We can use our running to build running specific strength. So what is running specific strength? Well, running specific strength is your body's ability to withstand the wear and tear, the force, the pounding of however long your goal race is. So if you're training for a 4-hour marathon, running specific strength, you want to be trained to run 9-minute miles and have your body be strong enough to run 9-minute miles for 4 hours. Now we have our aerobic system, of course, internally, our lungs, our heart, pumping blood throughout the muscles that will build strength through relaxed miles. You could do that on a treadmill, but we want the running specific strength of our legs and the rest of our body. And that's also going to come through running a lot of relaxed miles. And the more relaxed miles you run, injury-free, the stronger you'll get. Your tendons will get stronger, your muscles will get stronger. And when you start running, man, a 10-minute jog will make you sore for 2-3 days. But doing that consistently, that'll make your body a lot more resistant to injury and a lot more resilient. So again, the goal should be to string together a lot of relaxed miles without getting injured. That's the baseline of building running specific strength. Now, also working in some days of faster pace, that's going to help build resilience as well. We're going to be working different muscles, fast twitch muscle fibers versus slow twitch muscle fibers when we're running fast, especially if we're doing strides, getting down to mile race pace or 5K race pace. We're going to be practicing different mechanics, and we're going to be building run specific strength by running faster as well. So a big baseline on the bottom, if you think of a pyramid, the base of that pyramid is our aerobic foundation, and we can keep improving that for years and years and years. And in that same foundation too, I will add whatever supplemental strength work you need to do to prevent injury. So if you know you have some weakness, a calf weakness from an old sports injury, doing whatever PT work and specific exercises to strengthen that calf, that goes into the foundation. Then the middle layer, that's occasional fast running, right? 1 to 2 times per week, doing our race pace workout, doing our strides. I'm putting all that in the same bucket. All that faster running, all of that intensity, that builds a lot of running specific strength at all of those different paces, works the fast twitch muscle fibers, improves our mechanics, and if done correctly, is also going to help us run with better form at our slower paces to build more resistance to injury as well. And then third, the top of that pyramid, the pointy part that the aliens dropped right on the top of the pyramids, that's hill work. Hill work and sprint work. And I don't even do a lot of this, but running hills and running hills fast, and man, it does not need to be sprints. You don't even need to do hill sprints. Just accumulating elevation gain and running hills hard, that's the best running specific strength you can do. So big foundation of mileage, race pace workouts, and intensity, and hill work. That's how you build running specific strength. If you want to get better at running, you got to run more. You don't need a deadlift. The deadlifting is there to supplement. Think of it like a protein shake. You're only going to drink a protein shake, or you should only drink a protein shake if you're not getting enough protein from your regular diet. This is the issue with the American way of thinking.
People out here drinking protein shakes without eating their tofu and chicken breast. Stop drinking the dang protein shakes. It's the same thing with running. The strength work is gonna do 0, 0, 0 if you're running 20, 30 miles a week. You have so much untapped potential. If you get up to 40, 50, 60, if your goal is to get faster, man, that's gonna be the unlock. Now, can strength training make some people more resistant to injury? Probably, yes. But for the vast majority of hobby joggers, the biggest unlock is gonna be consistent mileage over time. Now, I have people who comment and ask me about different training plans, and they're telling me, oh, I'm running 20, 30 miles a week because I'm not in marathon training season. Stop it! Bro, if you're telling me you haven't cracked 330 yet, and you're trying to qualify for Boston, and you just did this big marathon training block, why are you running 20 miles a week in the off season? You must not want to get faster that badly. So these are the things that just fire me up. There's no easy gains in running. You have to run consistent mileage over time. This is not a message everybody wants to hear, because it's not just plug and play. Yeah, add 3 sets of 10 of deadlifts. That will improve your marathon time by 5%. No, stop taking an off season. Now, you don't have to slam 14-mile marathon pace workouts. I'm in a pseudo off season right now. I'm training for an ultra. I'm not doing big grinder tempo sessions. I'm just working on that base. I'm just working on the base. I'm building the strength pyramid. But man, if you want to get faster, those easy gains are to maintain a higher volume throughout the year. And if you're getting injured, that's where the strength training comes in. That's also where reevaluating your application of intensity comes in. The only times I've been injured in my running career is when I had too much intensity. So running harder workouts when I shouldn't have, actually doing CrossFit with running, I got injured. I'm not saying it's the strength training that injured me, but putting stress on the wrong place. And that is the thing with strength training too. The way that a lot of people apply it is going to the gym and doing what we were taught in high school to get jacked. And that style of workout, for the most part, is gonna detract from our running. And if our goal is really to get faster, again, that's the point of this discussion, to get faster. It's not about having balance and looking yoked and good aesthetics. Because if you want to have a balanced athletic approach and look good, then yeah, go ahead, do some curls for the girls, put up some heavy shoulder presses. But if you're serious about getting faster, that's not the approach we want to take. So if you're thinking about how to add in strength training, the rules for strength training of mileage are opposite. With going to the gym, your mindset should be, what's the minimum effective dosage? How little of this can I do to conserve my most precious resource, which is time? We should be spending as little time in the gym as possible if our goal is getting faster. It is only there to supplement. It's like that protein shake. We want as little of that as possible. We're only doing that when we can't get the necessary nutrients from our base diet, which is mileage, the diet of mileage. And with mileage, it's the opposite. What's the maximum level of mileage we can sustain without getting fired, divorced, or injured? They don't want to hear me tell the truth. That should be your approach. if you want to get faster. What is the maximum volume of mileage I can sustain right now as a hobby jogger, given my life responsibilities, while being able to sleep at least 7 hours a night, do everything I need to as a dad or a mom, an employee, and still run my workouts hard? How many miles a week can I run while checking off all those 3? This is the stuff that boggles my mind, because people really want to get faster without running more. Why are you running if you don't want to run more? You gotta run more to get faster. He fires me up. What does the shirt say? Shirt says gosh dang mileage. Doesn't say barbell bench press. All right. Bro, that mom had an Astro World hoodie on. That was not what I was expecting. He legit had a Travis Scott hoodie on. Okay. Do your thing, baby girl. And here's the thing. Even with the elites, some do, some don't. But I know there's gonna be an argument. Well, this such and such elite runner does deadlifts in the gym. Yes, that is the cherry on top. And once you get to a level where you've maxed out your aerobic gains, it becomes more important to add in little adaptations and optimizations. It's the same thing why some Olympians are sleeping in climate-controlled tents and reducing the altitude pressure in their tents to get certain adaptations. It's because they're doing literally everything else correct. Are you sleeping 7 hours a night? Are you having an appropriately low level of alcohol consumption? Is your diet where it needs to be? Are you managing stress appropriately to be able to go out there and run consistently? Are you running at a baseline 35, 40 miles a week? Because if you're not, the best thing you're going to be able to do is to look at your holistic life setup and say, how can I set things up so I'm recovering well, able to run more, and feeling good? Everything else is just gravy, man. This is the stuff that really fires me up, man. I had this boss one time. He was obsessed with his Whoop metrics. Meanwhile, he couldn't even run a mile. This is the sickening part of American culture. We buy $1,200 sport watches. We can't even run a 12-minute mile. It makes me sick. It seriously makes me sick. The mileage is free, baby, and it will change your life. You don't need a gym membership to run miles. Man, I started running in a pair of hiking boots because those were the athletic shoes I had. I was running in a pair of Jordan sneakers. When I started CrossFit, I was doing it in a pair of Paul George basketball shoes because that was the most stable shoe I had. Just put your steel wool socks on, lace up your shoes, and get the miles in. And this stuff just fires me up because people want to find easy ways to do things all the time. There's no easy ways in running. Now, talk to me about AI. The only AI for running is aerobic increases. Put that in your pill and pop it, Pfizer. This is the message that Big Pharma doesn't want you to hear. They don't want you running more miles. They want you laying up on the couch Thanksgiving week talking about I went to the gym for 20 minutes. Stop it. Don't let Pfizer win. Get out here, be consistent with your mileage, and let's bury Big Pharma. And I haven't popped a pill since 2018. That's not true. I take Advil sometimes when my head hurts. Rarely though, probably twice a year. On a serious note though, that is the American way of thinking. Oh, my head hurts, Advil. Not, I'm gonna drink 36 ounces of water and see if that takes away my dehydration, because I've been stressed looking at blue light for 7 hours because Sharon over in HR sent me a stressful spreadsheet. Why don't you step away from the computer, take a walk outside, enjoy the greenery, enjoy the blue skies, and drink some water. And while you're at it, you might get inspired to run some gosh dang mileage. Here's the other thing. It all comes down to goal setting. My goal is to run as many miles as possible, because miles in and of themselves get me fired up. I love mileage. I'm a sicko. I've told you, man, you gotta chase miles, not clout. So we're out here getting the miles in. And if I set up my life to run more miles, this is what I've learned. If I set up my life so that I can run 20 miles every weekend, that means I'm doing everything else so that I can put my body through a mildly stressful athletic event for 2.5, 3 hours every weekend. So I'm getting that sleep. I'm encouraged to eat correctly, to make sure I'm not putting things inside my body that are detracting from recovery. I'm optimizing for mileage, and if you optimize for mileage, you'll also optimize for health. Now, if your goals are different, well, here's the other thing. My goal is also to get faster. And that's where partially this discussion is coming from. But if your goal is something else, for example, you're doing high rocks, or you consider yourself a hybrid jogger, and you like throwing around big weights, you like doing heavy bench press and deadlift. And by the way, some people are just more suited to one discipline versus the other. That's just the fact of the matter. Remember the whole ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph thing back in the day? And if you look at somebody, sometimes someone will look at me and say, you look like a runner. There's a reason stereotypes like that exist. I am more optimized for running. That's why I can run 100, 120 miles a week and not get injured. If you have a more muscular build, sometimes I try to censor myself. I'm just not gonna censor myself today. If you have a more muscular build, you are not likely optimized for running. You might enjoy going to the gym more and putting up heavy weights, and that's okay. Not everybody needs to train the same way. If you're more of a fast twitch runner, so if you were always one of the faster people growing up and stronger people, you're probably more suited to lifting, and you might enjoy that more. And running might be more difficult, but you might still enjoy it, and you like the thrill of chasing achievement and marathon PRs or whatever. And for you, maybe strength training is part of the, I almost want to say spiritual, but in a sense, the spiritual side of your athletic journey. Maybe the lifting gives you fulfillment, and I'm not going to minimize that, because that's the thing. For me, it's the opposite. Man, no matter how much I lifted in high school, and I was probably 20, 25 pounds heavier than I am now, all muscle in high school and early college, I just couldn't crack 200, 225 on the bench. I just don't have that sort of strength. I'm 6'2", and I'm not a powerful lifting guy. I'm a wiry, lanky guy. And so different body types require different stimulus and also are more suited for different disciplines. I was never suited for lifting. I just never was. So man, the science will tell you this, and the science will tell you that. Here's what I'll tell you about all the science. None of it agrees with each other. The scientists are just like everybody else. They want to just prove people wrong. That's what all the books and studies are. Just, can I prove this guy wrong? Can I prove this person wrong? Can she prove him wrong? Can he prove her wrong? Who can design the sickest treadmill progression test? But what I can tell you is that mileage works and being motivated to consistently run mileage works. So if lifting is going to motivate you to maintain an overall regime of running and health and fitness, then leave it in. If you don't feel like yourself when you haven't been to the gym for 2-3 weeks, that is a huge reason to go to the gym every week and throw around some weight. Because if you feel sluggish and slow and weak when you haven't squatted, then you should squat. Just do it in a way that's not gonna reduce the performance of your workouts. But again, it comes down to the mental side of running. We can talk about everything else, the strength pyramid that I outlined, but if you're not feeling good, if you're not feeling like yourself, if you're not feeling confident, if you don't even like the way you look because you haven't benched in 2 weeks, and doing that makes you feel better, that's a huge reason to do that. So I can get fired up about mileage this, mileage that, but it's not so simple as coming out here and running miles. There also is the mental side of it. For me personally, the running is the fulfillment, so the strength isn't as big of a piece. Dude, what the heck? There's just open fire hydrants gushing. Peekaboo! By the way, I know I said I don't want to add a million caveats. I will add one caveat here. And I know it's gonna pop up at least 6 times in the comments. But as we get older, as we pass 30, 35, we start to lose muscle mass. And that's when maintaining that muscle mass becomes important and should become a goal in and of itself. And if we're declining, our strength is declining so much that we're getting injured more, not able to run, then that is a huge reason to be doing strength training. And in general, if we're looking at running as a way to improve our overall enjoyment of life and extend the number of healthy years and enjoyable years we have, then doing strength training will become more important as we get older. But guess what? I am not at that stage yet, and that's why my training reflects that. It is a privilege to have youth. But I do understand that in 5-10 years, I'm probably gonna wanna add more in to my own program, just for my general health and wellness. So that's the age caveat. I'm sure there's 17,000 other caveats out there. Caveats are like opinions. Everybody has one. And one last distinction here about language. Language critiques are also like caveats. Everyone has one. Strength training. What the heck, dude? This thing is crazy. Oh gosh. I do not know what's going on. That's like something you see in Brooklyn, not Mint Hill. I don't know what's going on. I thought I left this shenanigans in 2019. That's like a Bed-Stuy Independence Day party. Yeah, strength training will not make you faster. It will not make you faster. Going to the gym will not make you faster. Doing hill sprints and hill work will make you faster. So running specific strength work or strength targeted running will make you faster. Going to the gym will not make you faster. For a certain population of people, going to the gym though can encourage the other actions that will make you faster. So it can help you get faster, help you by either mentally, spiritually, or emotionally, by keeping you sane or protecting you against injury for a certain population. But in and of itself, it's not gonna make you faster, dude. Does anybody know what Kendrick meant when he said Roman numeral 7, baby? Drop it like it's hot. The Roman numeral 7 part, VII. I've been racking my brain. And I looked on Reddit, but in typical Reddit fashion, it's a bunch of galaxy brain armchair theorists. So if anybody knows what Roman numeral 7 means, let me know. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since Saturday. Now, another use case where strength training and lifting can be helpful is if you're a newer runner and you have a big background in lifting and your goal is to get faster, but you want to maintain that overall exercise intensity. You're not going to be able to run 5, 6, 7 days a week comfortably in the beginning. So you can keep some of your days as lifting days. Start off with 3 days a week of running, keep the other 3 days lifting. And if you want to be a hybrid jogger, go on and keep that format forever. But if you want to marathon train, maybe you'll eventually do 4 or 5 days of running, 1, 2 days of lifting. So it can also be a way to keep up your overall exercise volume. Because again, when it comes to exercise, it's like mileage. Something is better than nothing. It is better to go to the gym than to just sit on the couch and pop Advil. It's of course better to run mileage than go to the gym if your goal is to get faster. But if you're limited in the number of sessions you can do per week because you're not able to recover because the running stimulus is new, then maintaining that volume of gym work is super helpful. And there's definitely a place for that. Peekaboo! Consistent mileage over time. That's not a great slogan. That's why I just put mileage on the shirt. All right, 8-mile recovery run, 7:40 pace. We're gonna close this thing out here. You already know we were rocking with the Mag Max. This thing has the streets on lock right now. Man, when I called this my Super Blast, we sold Running Warehouse out. So I can't even tell you to buy this through my Running Warehouse link. That's crazy. Hobby joggers really destroyed the inventory at Running Warehouse of the Mag Max. That's wild. Up your best. All right, so let's just get it in here raw. I'm not even going to drop the breakdown beat. It's Thanksgiving week. We just got to go quickly this morning. That's why I'm talking so much on the run. Because I have to go into dad mode. So I said from demon time to dad time. Real quick. So let's close it out here with 3 questions. 3 questions you should ask yourself to determine whether or not you should add strength training into your program. I know people want the hobby jogger hats. They're coming again. We're keeping them in stock. 365 now. So we're going to have all the merch on deck. New merch on deck. I have new fire coming. We have outerwear coming to stay warm and cozy for those winter months. So first question you should ask yourself about whether or not you should add strength training into your program is, do you need it? Do you need it to prevent injury? Do you need it to supplement? If you have a known imbalance or a known weakness or a known area that flares up and needs to be supported, that is a great time to add strength training in. Second question, are you doing everything else? Is it going to be additive on top of what you're doing, or is it going to detract? So are you sleeping the appropriate number of hours to maximize those consistent miles that you're getting? Are you even getting those consistent miles? Because here's the thing, man, the lifting is not a silver bullet. It's quite in fact the opposite. For most people, it's just detracting the time that you can spend running. So are you doing everything else? Are you being consistent with your whatever your maximum level of mileage is? And is the strength training going to be additive? For most people, it's not. And what's going to be additive is hill work, any sort of run specific strength, or adding more consistent miles on top if you're not already doing the 2-hour long run on the weekend. Here's the thing. A lot of people want to talk about strength training. They're not doing 2-hour consistent long runs over the weekend. This is why I get so fired up about these topics, because strength training is like putting on the Normatec boots. It's like getting a gosh dang climate controlled mattress. These boys want to buy a $7,000 mattress. Meanwhile, they're slugging 2 double IPAs, 8.9% ABV before they go to sleep. How do you think your recovery is going to be on that 67 degree Fahrenheit mattress after having 2 Deepas? You're not going to get Deepa Sleepa. I'm telling you that right now. So it's one of those things that is the cherry on top. Any of this high-tech stuff, going to the gym,
unless we are maximizing our capacity in doing the very simple things of fueling appropriately, recovering appropriately, 7 hours of sleep, our target number of calories to make sure we are appropriately fueled to run our workouts hard, and we are running those workouts hard at marathon pace, something like strength training or the climate-controlled mattress is not going to be additive. Caveat being, again, the mental aspect. I'm going a little mental this morning talking about this. The mental aspect of running is so huge, you cannot undervalue that. So if going to the gym and throwing up some heavy weight makes you feel good and strong and powerful and better equipped to then go attack the long run a few days later, you better gosh dang believe get your behind in the gym to do that. So you feel powerful and you feel good. If drinking a shot of orange juice every Thursday at 6:07 p.m. is your ritual, but before doing your Friday workout, then do that. Whatever you need to mentally do to keep yourself healthy and feeling good, to keep yourself emotionally aligned, to keep your chakras in check. I'm out here like Janae Aiko talking about some chakras. Whatever you need to do to make sure Mercury is in balance. I'm not a horoscope guy, you can tell. Whatever you need to do, and again, this is the thing with my approach in life. Some people with the horoscopes find a lot of value in that. And I used to say when I was younger, I used to be, oh, that's so childish and foolish, horoscopes. No, some people get value out of the horoscope philosophy. What is it called? Astrology? Yeah, some people get value out of that, and that improves their day-to-day life. Reading their astrology, digging into it, it makes them feel better. They get real tangible value and action items. They say, okay, the horoscope is something like this. I can do this to improve my life. Why would I look down on that? That's awesome. If you can find anything that's going to improve your quality of life, you better gosh dang do it. For me, it's mileage. For you, it might be lifting or astrology. It's all coming from the same place if we want to enjoy the time we have here. But when it comes to getting faster on running, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say going to the gym is going to make you faster. It's not. So that's where we got to land the plane. Going to the gym is not going to make you faster. It will help you do those other activities for certain populations of people that will get you faster, especially if you are getting older, passing 30, 35 years of age, 40, 45 years of age, and your muscle mass is declining. For us guys, it is super important to maintain that musculature as we age. But is it going to help you run a faster marathon time? No. It can help prevent the injury. It can help you be consistent, and it can help you feel mentally stronger. So the last question here, the third question, is just, I want to touch on this super briefly, and I've been trying to figure out how to address it for this entire video. Body composition. I don't know if I need to do a trigger warning. This can be a sensitive topic. I'm mindful of that. Body composition. I'm going to be as touchy as I can here. I'm going to be sensitive to this topic. But getting ourselves into a healthy body composition is also going to make us faster. And for a lot of people, the limiting factor, or one of the things holding us back and easiest gains we can get, is improving our body composition. And also setting up our general life will do that. So for me, for example, I eat in a certain way. I exercise a certain number of hours per week. I make sure I'm putting things in my body and not putting things in my body that will reflect a healthy body composition. And I don't talk about weight loss, and I've never gone on a weight loss journey. Like I said, I was 25, 30 pounds. I don't know how much heavier than I was when I started running. Maybe at 30 pounds heavier than I am right now. I never said I wanted to go lose weight, but gradually through the process of setting up my life to improve my health, my body composition also got down into a healthier range. And it's, man, there's no virtue in being, I'm gonna just be blunt. There's no point in being skinny. There's no virtue in just being skinny. People wanna pop a gosh dang pill. People wanna pop Ozempic just to be skinny. Meanwhile, they're still slugging Splenda and not exercising. This is the stuff that fires me up. People would really rather pop a pill to have the facade of health than to do the work to be healthy. And so if you are going to the gym and maintaining your muscle mass and feeling good about yourself and exercising 30 to 45 minutes, and that is your goal, and that gives you fulfillment as a hobby jogger, that's great. That's what the role of exercise should be in our lives as hobby joggers, to make us feel good about ourselves and to improve our overall health and wellness. But with running, man, there are no shortcuts to getting faster, and going to the gym is one of those things where there's no quick hits. You can't just go in there and do some exercises that are going to immediately improve your running. But if it does improve your overall life, and if it encourages you to take actions that will keep that healthy body composition, is great. But my point of saying this is that for most people out there, you want to go to the gym for 20 minutes a week, you're going to be better served improving the quality of your diet, improving your sleep, improving your stress levels, so that your body composition is in a better place. All right, I hope that wasn't too harsh. And the goal of this for me is never weight loss, and that should not be the goal. And you can be healthy at a broad range of weights, especially if you are exercising. But when it comes to getting faster, the less mass we are carrying, the faster we are gonna go, especially if we're doing a lot of hills. So yeah, I think I'll end it at that. The role of strength training in a running program should be that of support, whether that's mentally, physically, or emotionally. And for a lot of people, the lowest gains we can get is getting out here and crushing some mileage. So I don't know. I don't think this is a message a lot of people wanted to hear. Some days I just get fired up because there's a lot of noise out there, and I want to cut through the noise. So be consistent. It's Thanksgiving week. Don't skip your runs this week. I said this on my run yesterday, man. Don't skip your runs this week. These are the times where it gets so easy. These are the times where it gets so easy to sit in bed or to make excuses and say, I don't want to convenience this person. No, you're going to have to inconvenience people sometimes. Minorly, not too majorly. Don't inconvenience your family too much, but get up a little earlier. Do whatever you need to do to get those miles in. I am taking a down week this week, but I'm going to be consistent and run every day because that's my commitment. And these are the times, man, holiday season gets so easy to slide back and look to January 1st and say, I'm going to pick it back up on January 1st. That's the Ozempic mindset. That's not the Supwell mindset. You got to be committed when it's harder. This is where we build mental strength. So get in, sign up for the Supwell app if you want some accountability. That's all I have for you today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. One more thing here. I just did let's throw it up here, 30-mile long run the other day. And the way that I was able to build up to that was by consistent building. I was going to say, you thought I was going to say consistent mileage. No, well, it is consistent mileage, but consistently increasing the intensity and stimulus over time. And so there was zero strength training, zero gym work that went into that, but I did prepare my body to go through a hard event by getting stronger through that running specific strength. So it's all about the running specific strength. That 30-mile long run was made possible by first being consistent with the 20s, then the 22s, then the 24s. So there's a bunch more caveats I could add here. Like caveats are like, everyone has one, but I'm gonna end it there. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. And whenever I touch on something controversial or touchy, I really want to make sure I'm choosing my words correctly. What I'm trying to say is it's a lot easier to convince ourselves that we're doing the right thing by going to the gym for 30 minutes than it is to make healthy or health-oriented decisions throughout the week. And so if we're setting our life up to make it easier to make those health-oriented decisions, then we'll get more benefit out of those gym sessions. But just going to the gym for 20 minutes alone, that's not going to do much for anybody. We got to look at the big picture.